Okay. Good. You guys are doing both amazing.
Grüezi miteinander, Gregory von Lebe Stark here. Let me preface this awesome coaching session we have received from Louka Kurcer from Kettlebell Hardstyle Pro with the following premise. I believe that every coach needs a coach. And I believe that philosophies that may be different from each other don't have to contradict each other. I believe they can be complementary. They can complement each other. It's not an against, it's not a versus. It's all about learning. Now, I told Louka I want to learn the Hardstyle Swing. That's what you're going to see now. When he told us, that's what I really love about him. He said, you can share this 100%. Share it with everybody. That's his mentality. That's my mentality as well. I want to share what I know with other people. That's great stuff. And I want to learn the Windmill, the Turkish Get Up, and the bench press, and we're going to book another session with him and share it with you guys as well. Why am I doing this? He even asked the question. You're going to see it in the video. The reason why, when it comes to the grinds, the grinding lifts, I got to talk to the Hardstyle guys. I got to talk to him because he's my go-to person, the go-to coach. Because when we look at the kettlebell sport, they only do 3 exercises: snatch, long cycle, jerk, and that's it. They don't even do a swing per se. What we are now understanding is we are becoming hybrids. We take the best from both worlds, from the Hardstyle world as well as from the kettlebell sport. That's what Steve Cotter taught us as well. Angie coined the term. We call it now the Stark Style. Combination between kettlebell sport and hardstyle. It's the Stark Style, and I really like it. Now, enjoy this awesome coaching session we have received from Louka. You find all the necessary links if you want to get coaching from him in the description. Go check it out, and I hope it inspires you and that you will learn something from it. And as a small disclaimer, the audio was bad because we had Bluetooth earphones, but I didn't switch to Bluetooth earphone as a mic in the Zoom app. So that's my bad. That's why you don't hear it as much, but it's not necessary because all you need to hear is Louka, and he's loud and clear.
This is what we teach in the courses, and it's really about kettlebell safety. We say kettlebell safety 101, respect your kettlebell. The first few points are quite obvious, common sense. So I won't go too much into detail, but some of them I will elaborate a little bit more. 1, get a medical clearance. 2, always be aware of your surroundings. So if you're training at the gym or outside or wherever, don't leave a kettlebell for you to trip over. Or obviously, you're responsible for your kettlebell. One thing we may do differently today, if you're interested, we're going to try training barefoot. Okay, I want you guys to try taking off your shoes and your socks, and we're going to train barefoot. The reason why is because you have a lot of receptors at the bottom, and you're going to be able to grip the floor and feel more stability using going barefoot training. All right. We have an expression. We say never contest for space with a kettlebell. So what that means is if the kettlebell wants to fall, if you're doing an exercise, this is under circumstances where you're pushing yourself or you're going for a PR, which we're not going to do today, but well, maybe, why not? Maybe we'll lift a very heavy kettlebell. But in case the kettlebell, if something goes wrong, guide it to fall harmlessly, right? And if it wants to fall on the floor, just be careful, get out of the way, okay? Practice safety measures at all time. Respect every kettlebell, even the lightest one. Always use perfect form, picking up and setting down your kettlebell. The set is not over until the bell is safely parked. So what that means is that if you're setting up for your exercise, you're supposed to do a deadlift to pick up your kettlebell and set it up into the space, into the position where you want to do your exercise. Just getting into the mindset that every time I pick up my weight, I'm actually performing a deadlift correctly and I'm bracing at the same time. Okay, focus on quality, not quantity. Always complete the set under control, stopping before high levels of fatigue occur. Never train to failure. And then this paragraph is important by Gray Cook. In strong first style training, like in weightlifting and powerlifting, reps are not the end goal. Emphasize speed in your quick lifts and tension in your grinds, and don't worry about reps too much. An important step towards improving your training safety, productivity, and recovery is to terminate your sets when the speed is about to decrease compared to the first rep, not when your muscles are giving out and you cannot catch your breath, okay? If you complete a set and your heart rate is high, just walk around, shadow box, and recover. I'm going to show you what's called fast and loose. It's what Pavel teaches. It's like muscle. It's a Russian muscle relaxing technique that he does between his sets. Okay, we're going to do it. Build up the training load gradually and use common sense. Listen to your body. And if I ask you to do something and you think it's not a good idea, don't do it. Use common sense. All right, that's pretty much it for safety. We like to talk about these things called the stop signs. These are pretty important for yourself as well as your students. Stop a set at the first sign of any of the following. If your rep speed slows down, if your tempo drops or decreases, so pauses, if applicable, increases. So that, for example, if you're doing a Turkish Get Up and you have to pause much longer at a step and you usually don't do that, that means you're too fatigued to continue. If your technique changes in any way, right? If your rate of perceived exertion exceeds an 8 on a scale from 1 to 10. The only exception is if you're testing or attempting a PR or doing a competition. We usually push ourselves sometimes to 10. If you're gasping for air, if you're out of breath, you need to stop, recover. And we like to use the talk test in our training, meaning that if you complete a set and after you want to do another set, you have to speak a few sentences clearly before continuing. And that's about it, right? That's just for training and practice.
That's what the big difference also is when you come from the traditional lifting, strength training, or hypertrophy background, where it's all about building muscle. This is where you just get that idea of muscle failure, even though you don't have to reach it every time, but it's you walk around with that idea.
Totally.
And that's something that I've really dialed down after the interview with Dennis, and now even after your interview, where I'm really thinking about this idea of the practice and the safety and the tempo. That's good stuff.
There's different schools of thought, and I can tell you where it comes from. It comes from Arthur Jones, the guy that created the Nautilus, and he created the high intensity training. Actually, it's not HIIT, it's more HIT. And he says you go beyond failure, but you only do one set. And that started like all the bodybuilders started adapting, going to failure, push yourself beyond your last rep, right? So they added different ways to do that. But actually, the problem with that is it makes you super sore and you're becoming high risk of injury and the quality goes down. So what happens is when your bigger muscles, your type 2 fibers get too fatigued, then the smaller muscles, the type 1 fibers, the slow twitch one, they take over. And that makes you much more at risk for injury when you do that. But not only that is when you stay fresh, most of the time, you can build more volume and more practice time. That means you get more work done, but you get more quality reps and you still build hypertrophy that way too, because it's volume. The name of the game is actually the load, the amount of total work you do in a given amount of time, right? And if you do a couple sets to failure, you're not gonna get that much volume because you messed yourself up.
And that's what Dennis said as well. Dennis said this as well. He said, why lift with too heavy weights if your form is breaking? Just pick a lighter one, and you're still able to get the volume in. It's same.
So the weight is not necessarily the end-all thing, because you can lift very heavy and not kill yourself, not train. Lift heavy but not hard, right? So Pavel has ways that we use the tension and the grinds, but we don't push to failure. We leave a lot of reps in the tank. So that's why we use a lot of ladders in our training system, whether we're doing swings or presses or grinds. We use a lot of the ladder system, and I can teach you how to implement that if you're interested. So the ladder, we can talk about it now or later in the training, whatever you want. So ladders are highly effective for building strength and conditioning. So the first step is looking at your hip hinge. So like I do with all my students, that's very important because I'm not going to take it for granted that you can do it. But we only have to do one set and just have to pass the movement test. So two ways to do the hip hinge. One is with like a stick, a broomstick, right? In my case, I use a bamboo stick. If you have a broomstick, go get one. Or if you have one, if you don't, then we could do something else. But if you do, go get one. But here's what you're gonna do with the stick. You're gonna place it down the middle of your back, down your spine, and you're gonna have one at the top and one at the bottom in the crease of your spine. And there's gonna be 3 points of contact, like in the FMS, right? Remember? So you got the top of your head, between the shoulder blades, and your tailbone, right? That's in the FMS. So what you're gonna do while maintaining those 3 points of contact, keep the soft bend in your knees, and you're gonna push your hips back like this, stand back up, and do that 10 times. Go slow. I want you guys to go slower, both of you. Nice. And your dog's thinking you're crazy. He's looking at you guys, he's thinking, what are these guys doing? They're nuts.
He's getting used to it.
Super. Okay, you guys passed that. The next step is the deadlift. So actually, I want to show you this for your sake as coaches. So I teach how to do a hip hinge with your arms behind your back. And this is a great way to learn it, because if you don't have anything, or you're looking to teach your student how to engage their lats, this is a perfect way. So you're gonna have your hands behind your back that's stacked, and they're touching your tailbone. And you're gonna pull your arms down, reach with your fingertips towards the ground, really hard, like you're pulling down hard, okay? You feel your lats, your armpits, and just perform the hinge. When you perform the hinge, keep reaching back with your fingertips behind you, right? Keep reaching back really hard, and you should keep your lats contracted, turned on. And I would say to Angie, don't look down, don't move your neck so much. Actually, what I'm gonna tell both of you is to look down at the horizon where the wall and the floor meet. You don't need to have you guys are good. Yeah, that's perfect. Excellent. Perfect hinge. You guys pass. Next is the deadlift. So I'm going to teach you how we set up for the deadlift, which is a grind, you can say. But since it's not that heavy, you don't have to use a very heavy weight. It's just a teaching way, something to teach our students before they learn the swing. So it's the same swing stance, actually. They're establishing their stance for their swing. So this is what we do first. So I'm gonna show you exactly how I set up. Can you see below the camera, my feet? So I'm standing directly over top the kettlebell in this position. And when I look down, it's in the center, and the handle, the line of the handle is between both my ankles, exactly in between, all right? So I'm gonna show you from the side, so that when I set up, you can't see the handle. You should not be able to see the kettlebell handle when I'm in position for my deadlift, all right? I'm gonna have my arms in a V like this, and the point is gonna be like this. You're gonna try to keep your lats tight, so pull your arms down like you had them before, like this, but pull your arms down, and do not let your forearms disconnect from your hips and your sides. At the top, okay, I'm gonna engage my glutes really hard. I'm gonna brace my abs, and I'm gonna pull up my kneecaps. I'm gonna do what's called a lockout, or the hardstyle lockout. So what is a hardstyle lockout? I pull everything up, I zip everything up, and I brace really hard. You get as tight as possible. That's important. So I'm gonna push my hips back, reach down with long arms, grip the bell, and then stand up and plank at the top. On the way down, I push it back with my arms. Pushing it back is really important because you're gonna feel your lats. You wanna push it underneath you. Do not allow your arms to disconnect away from your body and disconnect your lats. So try set of 5 repetitions.
Yeah, that's where I see
Please.
the big difference. You actually you hinge that far out, right? It's really your glutes, your hips is that far out, right?
Yeah, and I'll tell you why, because you're loading as much as possible. And a good, like Angie's doing, a good cue is you're trying to reach as far back as possible towards the wall behind you, as to your maximum, while keeping a neutral spine. Correct. You got it. And you can go a little bit wider, Gregory, if you want to, because you want to get in your swing stance. If that's your swing stance, that's okay. Whatever your swing stance is. And get a little more forward. Yeah, that's it. Correct. Correct.
And you always keep, right? You always connect. The arms are fully, or just the elbows are connected to my.
The whole time. The whole time, because it's going to engage my lats and it's going to maintain the kettlebell underneath me the whole time. Because that's what is important, is you pull it the closest possible to your center of mass. And it should come up in a straight line towards your center of mass. You got it. Good. Super. Now, here's the thing. We're going to add a second element. We're going to add the breathing. Not sure if you guys know how to do this, but it's called power breathing. Pablo teaches it. So it's creating intra-abdominal pressure while breathing in and out using the biomechanical breath, right? So you must maintain, we like to say, breathing behind the shield, right? So when you breathe through your nose, you kind of get tight. And when you exhale, you do it through pursed lips. You make a hissing sound like this. I really force the air out to create a lot of pressure down here. And visualizing the air pushing down towards the ground, right? Really forcing the air down. When you do that, you're gonna feel your abs light up. Correct. Cool. So you're gonna apply the breathing to the deadlift. And when you lock out, you kind of hold your breath. Okay, watch me do it with the breathing. You try it. Good. Okay. So I want to correct Angie. There's one thing I want to correct with her. And I think, Gregory, you're okay. You're doing it. Come a little bit closer, Angie, real quick, if you don't mind. So what you want to do, what you're missing, in the top of your deadlift, you tend to have somewhat of a little bit of a lumbar curve, right? Just slightly. So I want you to actually contract your glutes a little bit more, and you're going to do more, emphasize the posterior pelvic tilt, like this. Watch me. So you're going to, when you stand up, when you finish the movement, do this. Look at my hips. This. Tilt your hips and brace your abs. When you brace your abs, you lower your rib cage. Like you're flexing, you're bracing for a punch. So I want more glutes and I want more abs from you. Try that. Go for it. Good. And Gregory, go from the side, look at her from the profile, and see if she's leaning back a little bit. Look, see if she's straight. She has to end up straight. Good. Better.
That's actually what I see many women with a little bit of the lumbar curve, where they stop right here, and the pelvis is still in the anterior pelvic.
Yeah. This is gonna protect her back more because it's gonna lock it in. It's not gonna move anywhere. It's gonna prevent extension, overextension.
The glute squeezing, right? And the
Yeah.
glute squeezing and pushing the hips forward.
Yeah, kind of like zipping up like this.
Yeah.
So you're zipping up. Boom.
Yeah.
Here's what you do. You give each other some tough love. So you can, make sure she's tight. When she's in position, just, you could tap yourself and make sure these muscles are engaged. Right? So you're at the top. That's it. There you go.
That's it. Yeah.
One more set of deadlifts. Super. Perfect. Perfect. So actually, the swing, it looks identical to that, but it's much quicker. So that's really the movement in the swing that you want. Should look the same or very similar. So now we're gonna set up for the swing, and it's a very similar setup, okay? I'll talk about how far I usually position my feet away from the kettlebell, and you tell me if it makes sense for you. So you wanna get in a stance that, so let's say if I'm doing my deadlift, right? I reach down and my arms are here, right? If I'm gonna swing, I should be able to extend my arm here. That's my limit, right? So I want as much drag time when I hike the bell to start my swing very strong. If I start, let's say, if I take 2 small step back, I won't get as much drag time. But if I take a little step back and I lean back, my spine is still neutral, but my arms will go as far as they can while my lats stay engaged, and I can still load my posterior chain for my hike pass. So, we call it the tripod position or the triangle position. And when you go down, there's a quick, easy way to position yourself if you don't know, if you want to teach your students. It's called the 90-90. So this is the 90-90, is I bring my feet together, touching each other, toes touch the kettlebell. I'm gonna bring the camera a little bit closer actually so you can see this. So I bring my feet to the kettlebell, touching. Then I angle one foot to 90 degrees and I pivot back straight. Then I do the other side and I pivot back straight. Then I rock my feet back a few times and I should be in position to start my swing. More or less, but that's gonna work, that'll work with most people.
So it's one.
Rock back a little bit and then you should be in position. So Angie, I wanna show you how to do that again. Do this, like feet together, touch the bell, and you pivot off your heel. And then the line of the inside and outside feet should be 90 degrees, like this. Exactly. Correct. And you do that with both sides. Correct. Perfect.
And it's that tripod, right? It's the visualization. I like that idea. It's the tripod, right? The top is right here, and so my feet are the bottom of the tripod, right?
Correct.
So it's that,
yeah. Super. So a little detail. Well, you could say kind of like our mantra. Here's a good one that one of my friends came up with. He says, foot, foot, hips, hands, lats. So these are the steps you want to take in your setup. You place your feet, and eventually you'll just know where to position your feet. So you just step up to the kettlebell. foot, hips, hands, lats. The lats happen last when I tilt the kettlebell down in an angle towards me, and I pull my shoulders down towards my hips to keep my lats engaged. Exactly, yeah, that's it. And just a little bit, maybe, yeah, just tilt it down a little bit, but focus on your lats as well. Focus on your lats. There, that's it. And good. So a little detail when I hike the bell, I use a little bit of body weight. It's almost like I'm leaning back, depending how heavy the kettlebell is, of course, you guys know that. This is just a simple hike pass, so we'll practice. You're going to lean back slightly and throw the kettlebell back, and you should have this connection here, right? Like you're hike passing the kettlebell. And you're going to perform 5. Your objective is to land it softly on the ground. So it should look like this. 1, 2, 3, right? So use your lats to swim it back and your body weight a little bit. Try to hike it and then land it. Try to land it in the same spot. And yeah. Good. Good.
You know what I feel, Louka, is the difference is with that much tension involved, I feel like it is almost necessary to use heavier weights, especially if you're advanced.
Sure.
Because that much
Sure.
tension, the 16's already flying. I felt it with that much tension in the deadlift as well.
What do you have right now? What are you using?
It's a 16.
Get to like 20 or 24.
Yeah, I thought about it.
Cool.
And it feels even more natural if you have that much muscle engaged.
100%.
The weight it feels completely different.
100%.
Yeah.
Cool. There you go. Now I'm going to show you something interesting. It's called the power swing, also called the DeadStop swing. So you're going to do one swing at a time. We're going to try a hardstyle, and you're going to set it down between every rep. So it looks like this. Foot, hips, hands, lats. So your objective is to work on the timing on your setup and your set down, because that's really what you want to perfect. Your first rep is the setup. Your last rep is the set down. Make them perfect.
One question, Louka, if I may ask.
Go ahead.
When you swing the bell, full extension, bell travels up, the height, is that something that happens naturally?
Shoulder level.
Shoulder level.
Like this. So if you engage your lats, it doesn't have to go higher than your chest really, because the swing is force projection forward.
And it's still tension.
Yeah.
It's still tension.
Yes, so for sure you're going to be bracing your body, but your grip, it won't be so tight. We say keep your grip loose during the movement. Your arms are going to be loose as well, somewhat, but there's going to be tension in your lats. That's really important.
That's the difference.
But let your arms kind of, imagine they're like chains or towel, right? They're holding on to the kettlebell. So you guys try the power swing. Try 5 power swings. Nice. Nice. Good. Good. And take a break. Take a little break. Cool. So we're gonna troubleshoot real quick. You guys one at a time. Gregory and Angie, you're gonna assist Gregory. And do you have you guys like a yoga block at the gym, something like this? That's fine. So you're gonna go to the wall. And I want you to, Gregory, you're gonna put your back against the wall. And Angie, you're gonna go with Gregory. So Gregory, you're gonna be like this, up against the wall. You're gonna take the book, place it on top of your head. You're going to get in your swing stance. You're gonna put your arms against, straight up like you're swinging a kettlebell, but stack your hands one on top of the other. And I want you to brace your abs, squeeze your glutes, pull up your kneecaps. And Angie, just put your hand on the book at the top, while Gregory, you get taller at the same time. You try to get taller from the top into Angie's hand. I can see you from there, actually. I can see you from there, Gregory.
Okay, so I'm standing.
Yeah, so now you're gonna stack your hands in front of you. That's it. And Angie put it on his head. That's it. And Gregory, tuck your chin back. Push the back of your head up against the wall and try to get taller. Good. Now, I want you to brace your abs. Squeeze your glutes. Pull up your kneecaps. And Angie, you're gonna use your right arm and push up on Gregory's arms. Push up. Push up. Push up. That's it. Now brace your abs, Gregory. That's it. Get taller. Push up from the book at the top. And now relax. All right. So that drill is to straighten you out in the swing. Because you want to have a kind of a neutral spine. Your back and your neck have to be straight at the top. And you want to focus like this. So when you swing at the top, try to replicate the same position at the top of your swing.
So that's more like, because just to clarify, it's not chin up, it's tuck the chin in.
Yeah.
And more tension. When I do this, especially I've done it on the wall, when I do this, I feel way more tension in the lats and my back.
Totally. But if Angie looks at you from the side, now you're straight.
So that's straight, right?
Yeah, now get your abs on more. Get your glutes. That's it. There we go. And pull up your kneecaps. Pull up your kneecaps. Yes. You're leaning back a little bit, slightly. You're kind of leaning back a little bit. That's it. There you go. Now, put your arms straight up. Bring your rib cage lower. Boom. That's it. Don't bend your knees, because now what you're doing is you're pushing your hips forward.
Yeah,
You're kind of doing this.
Yeah.
I'm exaggerating, but that's what you're doing.
Yeah,
So I just want you to pull up your knees and brace.
Stop. So that's, because that's what I'm used to.
I know.
You know, like in the sport,
I know.
It's the pushing the hips forward. So
I know. But now you have to lock your knees. You have to pull up your kneecaps and you have to brace your abs. When you brace your abs, you're gonna lock.
Yeah.
And when you do the breathing, you're gonna have even more tension. Right? That's it. Just try a few reps, but visualize the wall. There we go. Better. Better. That's better. That's better. You got it.
My earphones are flying around.
That's good. You got it. I think it's much better.
Way more tension way more tension in the abdominal area.
The only thing you have to watch out for is your neck, because you have a tendency of doing this, taking your neck out. So what I want you to do is push your head back, tuck your chin back, give me a double chin at the top. Yeah, give me a double chin at the top, right? Top of your swing, double chin. Okay, give that a try.
It's not that hard.
Yes, like you did against the wall, right? Yeah, chin back, more. Check out Angie from the side, see if he's doing it. A little bit still. Yeah, but it's gonna be practice. You know, you guys can kind of coach each other. She can see you and just make you aware.
Yeah, the awareness, that's what's lacking.
The awareness. And, you know, you can kind of go back to the deadlift and do a few more deadlifts and pay attention when how you position your neck, and then go back over the swing again and see if it.
Because actually, what I usually do is chin up.
Okay.
So it's more like, you said double chin, right?
Yeah, double chin. So now the cervical spine is not into extension. We're bringing it down. Neutral. Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Gotta work on that, but yeah.
And what is with the arms?
Is it okay? I mean, the elbows too bend at the top. And that's...
Yeah, so you can have a slight bend, but you don't want to be like T-Rexing it like this. You know, you can have a slight bend is fine. You know, they're kind of like relaxed. But you don't want to get into like swinging like this, right?
But it's still working on, because that's, what we also have to rethink or just think differently when we look at the hardstyle is because we let the arms completely loose.
Yep.
When we're in the sports swing, so it's hardstyle, it's not, you keep your elbows locked, maybe loose a little bit.
Yeah.
But the lats.
More tension in the lats.
But yeah, more tension in the lats, more contraction in the abdominals, and that's what I have to work on. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Try a set of swings if you want with the breath. And as soon as you extend your hips, it's a call it kime. Like in martial arts, it's kind of like that one strike using the breath, the focus.
So, one question, Louka. When we do the power breathing, I use a little bit more of my lips. It's a little bit louder. It's not a hissing noise. Do you say no? Keep the hissing noise to have more air behind the shield, or in that case,
see what helps you get tighter.
All right.
See what helps you keep the contraction tight, because we want to be still tight as much as possible because we're swinging heavy weights. So we know that it's very safe when we have a lot of intra-abdominal pressure for the spine. We're protecting the spine and the organs. So in order we want to lift heavy safely, we have to use enough pressure. So it's really up to you. Try both, see what works better. Let's do one set. Do a set of 10, not dead stop, but consecutive, with the breathing. Try to implement the breathing, and go do 10 straight reps. Okay. Good. You guys are doing both amazing.
Really let me have to, if I may say something.
Yeah, of course.
Really have to keep the focus of, because I'm visualizing, using as much drive as possible, and then forgetting the tension. I'm letting loose.
Do you forget? You find, or you're okay?
I think I'm in between. I
Yeah.
feel like I could still tense more. I have
Okay, so
tension,
you
but
want
I
to
just
kind of spread it out because you know you're doing 10. But if you kind of,
okay.
I want you to think of the tension you want to give just enough to power the kettlebell. Power just enough tension to power the kettlebell and get that float and get that cadence. But you don't want to hold back the power, what I'm saying. You want to use just as much as you need to power that kettlebell, the one you're using, right? So if you're using, 24 or 32, you know what kind of power you have to create.
Yes.
If you max out on tension, you're gonna possibly be slower because more tension is not necessarily better in quick lifts. You have to know the right timing and when to apply the tension at the right timing. If there's too much
Yes.
tension, it's gonna slow you down on the way back, right? You're gonna
So
lose speed. You're gonna lose
you
speed.
mentioned in the interview you mentioned this with the frames
Correct.
that it's energy capacity, knowing how much energy to expend to get the kettlebell flying, depending on the weight, of course, but not powering out that one rep is killing you. It's still it's nuanced, huh?
Because you always, it's not a grind, number one, and number two, you want to come to a comfortable stop when you're doing this, because you don't want to slow this down. You want to come to a stop where you're able to recover and repeat it again. So typically, generally speaking, we won't do more than 10 reps in a set. And then we park the kettlebell, we wait until we feel ready to do it again. When I follow simple and sinister, I'm doing timeless, so I'm not concentrated on compressing the time or rest periods. I just really take my time and I breathe through my nose, and I let my own intuition guide me for when to go again.
Angie's pretty strong. Should she try with a 20?
Yeah, I just want to fix Angie a little bit with her technique. Angie, could you perform another set, please, of 10? And Gregory, look carefully from the side, like profile, yeah. Okay. And stop. Okay, sorry about that. Thank you. Gregory, get really close to Angie. Angie, don't move. Okay, Angie, you're going to stand straight. Stand straight. Put your hands down. Good. Stand as straight as you can. Straight, straight, straight. Now, Gregory, you're gonna put your hand really close to Angie's back, but don't touch her back. Okay, do not. So Angie, don't touch Gregory's hand. Okay, now Angie, you have to brace your abs, squeeze your glutes. Good. So when you swing at the top, don't touch his hand. Go. Try 10 reps, or you know what? Actually, do as many reps as you want. Don't be so concerned how high the kettlebell goes. It's not the point. What the point is your posture. So don't try to swing it high. It doesn't matter. Just focus on your posture. Got it? So Gregory, keep your hand there, right next to her back, where it was before, at the top. So stand straight, Angie, and put higher, like on her shoulders, like higher, like her shoulder blade. Yes, exactly. Now, Angie, swing, but don't touch Gregory's hand.
Got it.
Go for it. Go for it. Go again. Good. Good. Don't worry about how high it goes. Okay, you could swing low. Better. Good. 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 Couple more. 1, 2, and park. Angie, what did you feel? What did you feel, Angie?
It's better that if maybe the feet is sharper.
She has to use her feet more.
She has to use her feet.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, we're gonna do one more thing.
For stability.
We're gonna do one more thing. Angie, stay there. Greg, get in front of Angie, like face to face. Okay? Angie, you're gonna put your hand like this. Put your hands like this. Okay? And Gregory, you're gonna just put your hands under your arm underneath Angie. Okay? And you're gonna push up a little bit. Make sure her abs are very tight. Make sure she doesn't extend her back, her spine. And contract her glutes, yes. Correct, exactly. And tell her to grow taller. Grow taller. Tuck her chin back. And do not allow her lower back to bend. And tell her to feel her feet as well, like she did before. More pressure on her toes. And make more abs as well. More glutes, more abs. Huh, that's it. She got it. When she did that, she got it. Right? She has to do that. Exactly. Okay, now do the same thing in your swing. When you swing, do that. Yeah, correct. And imagine that Gregory's hand is there. And Gregory, if you want to put your hand there, it's optional. But she has to imagine it. Correct. Yeah, it's good. You know, if you hit it a little bit, that's okay, but make sure she's not like slamming into your arm. Cool. Just do, Angie, do like 10 reps. Better. Okay, park your kettlebell. Okay, so I see where the problem is now. Is that Angie is not hinging so far back. So when she does that, her top position is perfect, but she's not like reaching. So Angie, do a deadlift. Okay, see how far she reaches back? Now how heavy is that bell actually?
16.
Okay, bring the kettlebell behind your back. Pick it up, do a deadlift. Perform a deadlift. Bring the kettlebell behind your back, like this. Okay, tell her to do a good morning. Do a good morning stretch if you know how. Yeah, that's it. Or like a hinge. Hinge back. Go do a deep hinge. Yeah. Try to sit further. And if it's too heavy, she can go lighter if she wants. And now stand up. Perfect. And repeat. Repeat. Go as deeply as possible. A little less knees, I would say, to Angie. A little less. Perfect. And yeah. Okay, and come back up again. Sit, 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 sit. Imagine you're sitting back in a chair. Imagine you want to sit down. Yeah, good. Okay, now bring the kettlebell in the front of you. Hold. Push it back between your legs and then do the same movement while pushing the kettlebell back between your legs. Go deep, push it back. A little bit bend in the knees, that's it, good. And repeat. Keep pushing it back. Brace her abs, make sure she's bracing on the way down as well. Good, and you can park the kettlebell. Now swing again, but go deep like that. Now check Angie's posture at the top. Make sure she's not leaning back. Very important. But make sure she's also going deep, deep back, like she's reaching with the kettlebell. And if this doesn't work, we'll try something else. Okay. Reach back. Keep going, Angie, but get like get a 12 if you don't mind, just for like practice. So you're gonna do the book drill. You're gonna place the book behind Angie, and she has to touch the kettlebell with the book. And Greg, you're gonna bring the book a little bit further away if you feel like she's not reaching enough or she's not hinging. And Angie, your objective is to hit the book with the kettlebell. And the first few reps, Greg, make it easier for Angie to reach for that. Yeah, bring it a little higher, a little bit higher. The book. Yeah, you got it. Go for it. And swing. Reach for the book. And Gregory, try to reach further back. Give me a few more reps, Angie. Few more reps. Try to keep going. You were okay. You were okay with the book where it was before. Yeah, there you go. Good. Reach back. Reach back. Reach back. Reach back. Reach further back. Yeah. Good. Good. And relax. Okay. So stay there. Stay there. Don't move. Don't move. Now, Greg, put your hand up at Angie's back where it was before at the top. Now, Angie, do the swing and reach back and don't lean back now. Now you're gonna try that. Okay? Put your hand higher, Gregory, at her shoulder blades where it was before. Remember when she was standing? Yeah, exactly. Do that drill. Reach back. Reach back. Reach back. Reach back. Reach back. Okay, make sure Angie's not touching your hand. There you go. It was better. It was getting better, but what happened is that as soon as we fixed your hinge, you were leaning back again. So you got to work both ways and make sure she's hinging deep and standing straight at the top. That's the only thing.
Just for clarification, Louka, that's what we do in snatching and swinging. Pushing the hips forward and letting the upper body loose.
Correct.
See, so we have to rethink, right? That's the reason why she's not hinging as much, because we're just, in our swing, we just naturally let straighten the knees and we never go as far back.
You want to kind of load your body up, your posterior chain, and really produce force from the ground. You're trying to push the floor really hard to get in a lockout. It's like you're kind of jumping. Imagine if you wanted to jump really high, but instead you're rooting. You're rooting your feet into the ground. Boom. That's it. You got it. And actually, I'll show you a very interesting drill that's really nice. It's called chop and pop. And you don't need a kettlebell for this at all. And we could do it together at the same time. This is pretty cool. So we're gonna do what's called chop and pop. And it's kind of like we're reproducing the swing with the hardstyle lockout and with the breathing at the same time. And we're gonna try to match the rhythm of the swing, the cadence. So what we do is just body weight. I put my hands like this and I chop back, chop. And I pop. And when I pop, I end up in this hardstyle lockout. So I do chop, chop, pop, chop, pop, chop, pop. So let's try. You're gonna feel it's like a lot of cardio, even you're not even swinging a kettlebell. So we're gonna do 10 chop and pops together. See if we can do it together at the same time on my command. All right, let's try it. Ready? Hands in front of you, like this. Breathe in. Chop, pop, 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 chop, pop. One more. Pop, and relax. So it's a pretty cool drill that kind of teaches the swing a little bit. You don't need anything. So that's the swing.
Yeah. Great stuff.
That's the swing.
Yeah. She said we feel like beginners.
Yeah.
That's okay.
It's just that's the complete opposite of, but that's what I wanted.
It's interesting that you say it because it's the extreme in a way. Two different extremes.
It's incredible. If I may show you, with if I swing with the 24 in the sports swing, it's
Same power. You got the power.
Well, you know what's funny? We're actually now engaging more drive and more power than we than we did back then.
but you're gonna be able to lift heavier, and it's actually gonna improve your conditioning with the lighter weights. When you go back to the lighter weights, they're gonna feel like it's so easy. So there's benefits to lifting heavy, going heavier.
And it's great to see this huge difference. I saw it with my eyes, but now feeling it with the tension, it's great.
Next time we could see the get up, and we could build it from there. And I think in the same session we can do windmill and bent press. They kind of go together because it's also a side hinge, and we teach the windmill before the bent press because it's a prerequisite for T-spine mobility and shoulder mobility as well. And it's the same, pretty much similar, very similar movements.
Great. And even if it takes us a third session, that's totally fine.
No problem.
We're in this to learn.
Cool. You guys got the get up down, so we'll see what we can do next time. We might just kind of brush up on it like we did with the swing.
Yes. Because on the get up, there's one thing, it's the drop down phase that I'm really interested in. Because somebody from RKC sent me a message and he gave me some feedback.
Yeah.
The drop down because I'm sliding back down.
Yeah, that's it. We can talk about that next time. You want to grind your way through the whole movement. So even at the last phase, when you're finishing, when you're coming down, you want to do this.
Yeah.
Right? So it's really important to pack the shoulder and get the lats, engage the lats. And I'll show you the technique because you really have to push yourself away and keep the kettlebell over your center of mass. Because too often people will keep their arms straight and they'll just fall down. So you want to kind of do this. I'm exaggerating, but this is what is going to happen. So the arm kind of drifts towards your opposite side a little bit.
See, that's why we need that teaching. That's the reason. It's good stuff.
So we review that in detail.
Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, like it, consider subscribing if this is your first time on our channel. And if you're looking for a kettlebell program that builds you up as a beginner with workouts that gradually increase in difficulty, and then combine it with some easy to follow nutrition coaching to maybe lose some weight, because that's what we do in real life, then check out 90 Days of Kettlebells. You'll find the link in the description. 14-day free trial included.